permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita, pasti akan terhasil.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat datang ke pelancaran program virtual SPM 2023-2024. Salam hormat kepada pegawai-pegawai KPM, PPD, pengetua-pengetua sekolah, guru-guru, pelajar-pelajar dan ibu bapa yang mengikuti siaran ini. Alhamdulillah, syukur kehadrat Allah SWT yang telah mengizinkan kita meneruskan program impak SPM bagi tahun ini. Bagi pihak impak, saya mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada KPM yang telah meluluskan program ini, kepada PPD yang telah memberi sokongan dan santunan, kepada pengetua-pengetua sekolah yang telah membenarkan dan menggalakkan pelajar-pelajar untuk mengikuti program ini, dan kepada panel guru-guru cemerlang yang telah bersungguh-sungguh tanpa kira masa dan penat lelah untuk menyampaikan ilmu dan rahsia strategi mencermelangkan pelajar-pelajar yang mengikuti program impak SPM yang telah dianjurkan selama 3 tahun berturut-turut. Terima kasih juga kepada rakan-rakan strategik impak, iaitu Yayasan Sultanah Bahiyah, Yayasan Taqwa Mawib, Kelab Bakti Gunung Keledang, Afin Bank Capital dan penderma-penderma yang telah banyak menyumbang demi keberjayaan program murni ini. Adalah diharapkan sumbangan anda akan berterusan, insya-Allah. Kepada guru-guru dan pelajar-pelajar yang masih ragu-ragu tentang keberkesanan program ini, impak dengan sukacitanya memaklumkan bahawa kami telah mendapat ujian dari JPN Kedah, PPD dan pelajar-pelajar kerana keputusan SPM dan kejayaan yang dicapai di luar dugaan mereka. Ini adalah hasil penyertaan mereka dalam program impak SPM. Alhamdulillah. Oleh itu, saya ingin merayu kepada pengetua-pengetua sekolah dan guru-guru untuk mengesyorkan pelajar-pelajar tingkatan 5 supaya daftarlah untuk mengikuti program ini demi kecemerlangan anda. Kami tidak janji 11A, tetapi jika pelajar betul-betul beri tumpuan kepada sesi-sesi oleh guru-guru cemerlang dan guru-guru bestari, insya-Allah keputusan SPM anda dan buku pembelajaran serta pemahaman anda akan meningkat. Bukan pelajar sahaja yang dapat manfaat, bahkan guru-guru pun dapat ilmu yang boleh membantu pelajar-pelajar mencapai keputusan yang baik. Jangan ambil ringan dan jangan ambil mudah akan hal pendidikan. Dengan itu, saya mendoakan kejayaan kepada semua pelajar yang akan menghadapi peperiksaan tahun ini. Bertindaklah dengan bijaksana. Daftarlah segera. Tiada yuran, tiada tekanan, hanya kejayaan untuk masa depan. Baca buku di siang hari, menimba ilmu hingga berjaya. Tingkatkan azam, cari motivasi. Guru cemerlang ada rahsianya. Guru cemerlang rela berkhidmat demi kejayaan bangsa dan negara. Menuntut ilmu tiada tanda tamat. Anda sahaja yang menentukannya. Sekian, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Permulaan melakar cita-cita pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua menuju kejayaan. Inilah permulaan melakar cita-cita pasti akan terhasil. Ayo kita semua.
Alright, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. and a very good evening I bid to all of you. All right, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, please let us know in the comment box where are you joining us from. Let us know your school name or your place, okay, your state. All right, so as for tonight, you will be with me, Mr. Azrul, and also my colleague, Mr. Said, for the English session 1119/4, which is the listening paper. Okay, let me share my slide now. Okay, can you all see my slides? Please respond if you can see my slide. And in the meantime, Mr. Said, maybe you can read the comments. I'm sure our students or even teachers are sharing with us where they are joining us from. Okay, if you cannot see my side, okay, I hope you can see my side now. Okay, all right. So once again, tonight, the focus will be on paper 4, which is the listening paper. All right, students, what do you think of the listening paper? Do you think it's difficult for you? Please let us know in the comment box. Okay, cool. Yes, great that you can see our slides. All right, maybe 30 seconds for you to respond. What do you think of listening paper, dear students? Do you think it's difficult? Or is it easy for you? Yeah, there's still.
Don't be shy. You can comment
Yes, yeah.
us in the comment section. Yes.
All right. So difficult. Why? Why do you think it's so difficult? Key, is it? Why? Let us know why. It's easy. Wow, good. Yes, one of our friends said that part 4 is difficult. I couldn't agree more. I think to most of the students, part 4 would be the most difficult part. Okay. All right, let's move on to our slides. So I want you to look at this particular slide closely. All right, so this is the weightage for your 1119 paper, which is the English paper. As you all know, there are 4 skills altogether. The first one, speaking, which carries the full mark 24 marks, but please bear in mind that per mark, okay, 1 mark for your speaking paper, it carries 1.041% of your overall English paper mark. All right. And then followed by listening, the full mark is 30 marks. So each mark carries 0.833% of your overall English marks. The third one is the reading paper. Full mark 40 marks. So each mark carries 0.625%. And last but not least, your writing paper. The overall marks is 60 marks. So each mark for your writing paper, it carries 0.417%. So based on the weightage which I have provided for you in this particular slide, can you tell me which paper is actually the most important one in order to help you to either pass or to excel in your English paper? Please answer in the comment box. Which paper is the most important one? I give you 30 seconds for you to respond. Reading and writing. The first one, speaking. Which one? Okay, many of you answered speaking, and yes, you are right. Speaking is actually the most important paper for 1119 because it carries, each mark for the speaking paper carries the most mark, which is 1.041%. Okay, so once again, if you aim to pass, or if you aim to excel, to get an A or A plus for your English paper, then you must do very, very well in the speaking paper. Okay? All right, let's move on into our listening paper. So this would be the format. There are 4 parts altogether. Part 1, 7 questions which carry 7 marks. Part 2, there are 8 questions and they carry 8 marks. Part 3, there are only 5 questions which carry 5 marks. And lastly, the most difficult part, which is part 4, according to most of our students, there are 10 questions and each question carry 1 mark. Therefore, the total mark would be 10 marks. So overall, if you add up part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, the total marks for the listening paper would be 30 marks. And please bear in mind that these 30 marks will be converted to 25% for your overall English paper. Okay, so what is the most important thing for SPM candidate for you to do in order to prepare yourself for this listening paper, since many of you said that listening is quite difficult? Number 1, please bear in mind that you need to be laser focused for your listening paper. Okay, why? Focus is much needed in listening. Okay, because you will be needing to listen to the audio and at the same time you will be reading a lot of questions and also answer options. Therefore, you are required to give your focus in order to answer all questions. All right, so focus is the first thing that you must remember. Okay, and another thing would be the parts of speech in English. So here's a question for all of you, especially the students. Do you know what are the parts of speech in English? Please comment in the box whether you know the parts of speech in English, yes or no. I give you 30 seconds to respond. Okay, one of our students, Barbara Kath, she mentioned yes, she knew what are the parts of speech in English. Could you please list what are the parts of speech in English, Barbara? Aina said no and also said no. Same goes with Hazwani and Hafizul. They mentioned no, they don't know what are the parts of speech in English. Actually, I'm pretty sure you know what are the parts of speech, part of speech in English. It's just that you don't know those are actually the parts of speech. Yes, one example has been given by your friend Barbara. Nouns. Afika mentioned adjective. Yes, you are right. Very good. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? Okay. Or I'll give you some time for you to list the part of speech after this. Okay, is that okay? Okay, no worries. For those of you who don't know what are the parts of speech in English, I will guide you after this, all right? So why? Why are parts of speech in English important? All right, they are very important because if you know them very, very well, then it would be very helpful, especially in helping you to answer the part 4 for your listening paper, as well as it will be very beneficial in helping you to answer the writing paper because you need to know all the grammatical rules, okay? And also for your reading paper, paper 1, especially in part 2, the rational clause, all right? So as I asked you just now, can you list the parts of speech in English? Okay, our teacher here, teacher Nurul Azin Izati, he wrote nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns. Yes, you are right. These are some of the examples of parts of speech that we have in the English language. Okay, the other examples would be, okay, noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, article, preposition, conjunction, interjection. Okay, you can read these the examples of the parts of speech in English, and I'm pretty sure you actually know all this. Am I right? Those who answered no just now? I'm sure you have come across all these words, right? Hafizul, have you come across these words before this? What about you, Shafinas? Yes. Don't eat meh choco. Yes. All right. Okay, very good. Azwani, yes. That's why I said you actually knew what are the parts of speech in English. It's just that you don't know. Those are actually the parts of speech in English, yeah? Okay, so next, I'm going to be sharing with you the tips in tackling the listening paper according to part by part, yeah? So please remember that there are 4 parts altogether, and every part requires different skills for you to tackle and for you to answer the questions. Let's go to part 1 first. Okay, this is an example of the questions for part 1. So as I mentioned before, in part 1, there are 7 questions altogether. All right. Given here, there are 4 questions, and if you notice, one of the questions, question number 3, the question starts with a WH question, why? All right, so please take note of all these WH questions whenever you read or whenever you go through the questions for part 1 and part 2. All right, so here are some tips. For part 1, you need to remember that there are 7 questions and you will listen to 1 recording for each question. That means you will listen to 7 different audio because there are 7 questions. Okay? So tips number 1. Please read all questions before you listen to the audio. Okay, one common mistake, one major mistake made by many students is that they tend to listen to the audio first without reading the questions. Okay, prior to listening to the audio. Okay, what you should do actually is read all the questions before listening to the audio. This tip is very, very fundamental, especially in making sure that you don't miss the audio as well as the question. All right. Tips number 2. Okay, after you have read all the questions, question number 1 until number 7, you should identify and also at the same time, please underline using your highlighter or using your pencil the keyword or the WH questions in the questions. So what are the examples of the WH questions? So the examples are where, why, what, who, how. Okay? So please underline the WH questions or please underline the keyword. All right, next. Tips number 3. After you have listened to the audio, okay, I'm pretty sure that sometimes you will not be able to answer the question when you first listen to the audio. Okay, but fret not because the audio will be repeated twice. Okay, audio akan diulang 2 kali. So if you miss or if you are unable to answer the question for the first time, then what you can do is try to eliminate the wrong answer. All right, what do I mean by eliminating the wrong answer is buang jawapan yang salah. If you know the answer is incorrect, then cut that one off. Okay, for example, let's look at this question. Okay, question number 2. Okay, let's say you listen to the audio kan. The woman is probably a, and you are pretty sure that that the answer, the B, guard on duty is incorrect. You are very, very certain that B is incorrect. So you eliminate that answer first. That means you are left with answer options A or C. So there's a 50-50% of chance for you to answer the question correct. Okay? And the last one, tip number 4, which I believe should be applied to all parts, is steal and cheat. Okay, what do I mean by stealing and cheating? In part 1, part 2, part 3, or part 4 is that you must use whatever extra time that you have to go through the questions and also the answer options before you listen to the audio. Okay, for example, okay, when you get the question paper, okay, and the ketua pengawas asks you to check the question paper, okay, use that time to not only check the question paper, but also to go through the questions for part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, okay, or maybe just part 1 and part 2, and also the answer options, so that you have ample of time. Okay, when you listen to the audio later on, you have actually read the question, and I'm pretty sure you can actually identify the correct answer. Okay, because you have had ample of time to go through the questions prior to listening to the audio. Okay, so this is what I meant by steal and cheat. Okay, you have to be smart. That is why you need to be laser focused from part 1, part 2 until part 4. Okay, sometimes the problem with the students is that they are only focused in part 1 and part 2, but as they progress to part 3 and part 4, they have lost their focus already. Okay, so please be focused when you do or when you answer your listening paper. All right, because focus is the key in order for you to answer the listening paper well. Yeah. Okay, next, moving on to part 2. All right, this is an example of questions for part 2 taken from the 2021 trial Negeri Sembilan paper 4. All right, there are 8 questions altogether for part 2. Okay, if you notice question number 8 until number 10, as in the sample questions there, the question starts with the WH question, how? Okay, how did Akash get into journal writing? How did Akash prepare for his class presentation? How does journal writing help solve problems? So you have to take note, you have to identify, you have to underline all these keywords, all these WH questions, because when you listen to the audio later on, you will only listen to the specific information about this how only. Okay? All right. So what are the tips for you to answer part 2 of this listening paper? Okay, the first thing is, please remember that for part 2, you will only listen to one recording, one same recording for all 8 questions. Okay, unlike part 1 just now, you have 7 questions and 7 different audio for each question, right? But for part 2, there are 8 questions, but only one recording for all those 8 questions. Okay, the same tip number 1, you must read all questions before listening to the audio, because you will save time, okay, if you read the question first. Okay, we as a human, we cannot do 2 things at one time, because we will not be focused. All right, so you should read the question first, so that when you listen to the audio later on, you will be more focused in looking for the correct answers. Okay, same for the tip number 2. Identify and underline the keyword or the WH questions in the questions. All right, tips number 3. Please remember that the answers for part 2 are in sequence. What do I mean by this? Okay, let's look at the question once again. Okay, sometimes when you listen to the audio, you don't even know that the answer for question number 8 is there already. It's in the audio already. But when you realize you have already missed the answer, okay, suddenly you realize that, oh, it's already at number 9. So you missed question number 8. Okay, if that happens, then please don't dwell on the same question. Don't wait at question number 8 because you have missed question number 8 already. But move on. You should focus on the following questions, and please remember that the answers are in sequence. It cannot be jumbled up. The answers mula-mula jawapan number 9 and then number 8 and then suddenly number 10. No, it cannot be like that. It will be in sequence. If you miss question number 8, that means you know the following audio will be the answer will be for question number 9 followed by number 10 until number 15. Okay, please remember that. Many students don't know this. Okay. And as I mentioned just now, please don't stop at the question that you missed, because remember, the audio will be repeated twice. All right, part 3, I will pass to my colleague, Mr. Syed, to further explain the tips. Okay, the floor is yours, Mr. Syed. Mr. Syed, are you there? Okay, it seems like Mr. Syed is facing problem with this internet connection. It's okay, I'll just continue part 3. Okay, yes, he's back.
Hello.
Okay, students, before we proceed to part 3, if you have any question, please ask us in the comment box. Okay, we will answer after our session, yeah? Yes, Mr. Syed, you may continue.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Problem just now. Okay. Yes, hi everyone. Okay, let's move on to part 3. Let's have a look at the sample question. Okay, all right, thank you. So this is part 3. There are 5 audios representing 5 speakers, okay, from question 16 until question. Okay, so just as before mentioned by Mr. Azrul, each audio will be played twice. So you don't have to worry if you miss go on to the next slide for tips on tackling part 3. I'm sorry if you have you are not what do you say, watching the real time. You cannot hear me clearly. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to. So you need to underline the subject, verb, or adjective used in that answer option, because probably will be mentioned in the audio. Okay, so tip number 2 is you need to cross out the answers. And remember, I've mentioned before, there are for the correct go on. Next slide. The next slide. All right. So for part 3, tips for tips number 3. Sometimes the clues are obvious. Answer. So have a look at tips 4. Sometimes synonyms are used in answer option, and the words in the audio is not. I'm really sorry, my line is not good, I know.
Mr. Said, could you please repeat tips number 4 again? You were breaking just now. Okay, it's a bit unfortunate that Mr. Said is facing a technical glitch at the moment. I'm sure he is trying to rectify the problem as soon as he can. So in the meantime, I'm going to cover it up, okay? So let me re-explain what Mr. Said has just mentioned regarding tips number 4. Okay, so there's one question asked, or rather a statement. Okay, would you say part 3 is the easiest? Okay, so we have a few different opinions on this. Okay, some said that it could be the easiest part for the listening paper, and some say that it could be tricky because synonyms are mostly used for part 3. Okay, so basically in part 3, the topic, the 5 speakers will be talking about the same topic, and students, they need to really be able to identify the clues, like what Mr. Said mentioned in the slides earlier, maybe the subject or the verb or adjective use in the answer options given there. Okay, so they have to really listen and read the answer options carefully in order not to be distracted by the two distractors, because sometimes same word but that is not the answer. Okay, so synonyms, I believe we teachers, we must teach our students synonym words. For example, the word important. Sometimes in the audio it is mentioned fundamental, but in the answer option it is written important. So these two words, they carry the same meaning. So this is what I meant by the use of synonym. Okay, students, please remember to learn more about synonyms. You can always Google up for the synonyms. Okay. Okay, I'm sure Mr. Said is trying to use his hotspot. Okay, Mr. Said, I think your line is okay now. Would you like to continue?
Hello, testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, much better, I think.
Yes, Haziq, please. Let me use yours. Let's continue. Mr. Azrul, please, can you show us the sample question for part 3 just now? The previous slide,
Okay, here you go.
sample question for part.
Yeah, I'm at that slide
Okay,
actually.
thank you.
And
So,
okay.
as mentioned, yes. Okay, as mentioned in tip, number words are used, might be the synonym. Okay, can, hand, bicycle. So most probably in the bicycle. Okay, probably. Okay, so meaning that the answer option, the words used in the answer option, and the words used in the audio might not be the same, but has the techniques used to, for each part will explain for beginner students. Is it? I think it is applicable for beginner students as well. For these types of need to listen or same words used in the audio and the answer options. That's why we need to underline which one is the verb, which one is the noun mention. So most probably noun, it will mention, see, because there's one of it is a distractor. So this, okay, all right. Okay, sample question in part 4.
Are you still there, Mr. Said?
So in part 4, which is uh, I know it's your favorite, out the instruction space, which means if you write more than one word, it is automatically grammatically wrong. Okay, quite easy, but when they use is a tip hazik accent, if American accent, right? Still lagging, eh? Hang on. Hang on, everyone.
Mr. Said, do you mind if I explain part 4
so
first on your
sorry.
behalf? Okay, while waiting for Mr. Said to rectify his problem, okay, let me re-explain what he has just mentioned just now. Okay, so for part 4, please advise our students to first read the instruction. Yeah, read the instruction carefully because as you can see in the sample question, it is stated there that the answer, okay, they must use no more than one word for each space because sometimes the answers can be confusing. All right, like the exercise that we are about to do after this. So please, they have to remember that the answer that are accepted are only one word answer. Okay, so satu perkataan sahaja. Please remind our students that. Okay, so any tips on how to improve spelling? Well, I would say we revert to our like during our previous time where our teachers would always do spelling session in class. Okay, like my teacher, we will always do a spelling drilling every single day during our English lesson so that we don't misspell simple words like surprise, what else? Environment, okay? And as to why some students complain that they heard the S sounds in part 4, well, to overcome this problem, I would suggest that students listen to a lot of English songs or watch a lot of English dramas or movies in order to really, be familiarized with the accent, with the pronunciation by different people. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Sai, I know you are stressing out because of your internet connection. So, do you think you can continue, Mr. Sai, with the tips for part 4?
All right. Let's continue. Tips for part 4.
Okay, what will happen if
let's
students
say,
write? Mr. Said, that's one question I think very important. What will happen if students write 2 words? Will the examiner accept it? No, we don't accept 2 words answer because it is clearly stated in the instruction that only 1 word answer is allowed. Okay, please remind our students that. Yes, please continue, Mr. Sai.
Mr. Azrami,
Yes, yes. Okay, let's just continue.
Okay, all right, let's
Okay.
move on.
Yeah.
Yes, shall we? Okay, let's continue. I'm really am sorry about the technical problem. Number 3, read the passage quickly. Right? Right? For each part, you will be given blanks. So here is the clues you can find to make sure whether your have ed for past tense or not. Okay, so look at the clues before, and let's say if the word before the blank mention few, so or some, so we already know that explain and then okay let's say okay, thank you. Number 30, some liked what for your trip. So we can actually guess number 30 must have an S, okay, depending on the noun. Number 4, I really am sorry just to um, explain it clearly and loudly, are in sequence. So you don't have to worry if you miss some of the audio. Okay. And then you have to go through. Don't what I mean is that you miss. Don't stop at number so and so and because the audio won't stop for you. Okay, so you follow the audio from the beginning until the end, the Nick. Okay, all right, can we move on to the next slide?
Okay. Mr. Said, can I continue?
Part, especially part
Okay.
is a must.
Sorry, we cannot hear you, Mr. Said. Is it okay if I do the explanation and you reply to or you respond to
So
some of the questions in the chat box? Okay. All right. So moving on to tip number 5. Okay, as some of the students asked just now regarding spelling. So for part 4, spelling must be accurate. That means 100% correct, especially singular and plural words. Even if you miss the letter S, for example, the word book and books. If the answer is books, if you write book, then your answer will be wrong. Okay. Tak ada belas kasihan kita tambah S ke apa? No. It will be wrong. Okay, so it has to be 100% correct. And one very important tip for students to remember is that the answers are normally nouns or verbs or adjectives. Okay, so if you want to hantam your answers, okay, don't simply write like of, because that is quite impossible for that word to be the answer for part 4. Okay, so please remember that the answers are normally, I don't say 100% all the time will be nouns, verbs, and adjectives. I said normally are nouns, verbs, and adjectives. All right. Okay, so we have actually come up with 30 words which are commonly misspelled by the students. So we have number 1 until number 30. All right, so I hope we can do this together since we have 30 more minutes to go. So I will read each word for you, and I want all of you to write the correct spelling in the comment box below. Is that okay, students? Okay, before that, there's one question. For part 4, the answers could be in present tense, past tense, or it is just nouns, adjective. It could be in present tense, it could be in past tense, teachers. Again, okay, our students should pay extra attention to the sentences with the blanks because the clues lie within that particular sentences. All right? So that would be the major clue for the students. Okay, so let's do this together. Do this exercise together. Number 1, surprise. Can you please spell the correct word for surprise? The correct spelling for surprise. 10 seconds. Okay, there's one answer. Surprise. All right, very good. The correct spelling for the word surprise is S-U-R-P-R-I-S-E. I can assure you that 70% of the students spell surprise without the first R. Okay, so please remember there are 2 R's in the word surprise. Okay, very good. Right? Okay, Muhammad Haziq, be careful with your spelling, okay? No O in surprise. All right. Next, moving on to the second word, which is government. Government. Could you please spell the word correctly? Government. Okay, 10 seconds for you to spell the word. All right. Thank you, Mr. Said. Please help me to check their spelling in the comment box. Okay, students, please spell government. Okay, I can see most of you have given me the correct spelling for the word government. Yes, the correct spelling is G-O-V-E-R-N-M-E-N-T. Government. All right, well done. Next one, the word environment. Environment. Please spell environment. Environment. All right, well done, dear students. The correct spelling is E-N-V-I-R-O-N-M-E-N-T. Environment. And yes, Mr. Said also has given you the correct spelling for the word environment. All right, well done. Next, shall we look at question or word number 5, accommodation. Okay, please spell the word accommodation, number 5.
Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Yeah, we are at number 5. We skipped number 4. Okay, if we were to answer all, then I don't think we would have enough time. Okay, spell accommodation. Abigail, are you sure that is the correct spelling for the word accommodation? Are you sure there are two C's in accommodation? Remember the one that I wrote in the slide? Those are the incorrect spelling. Okay, Mr. Said, can you write for them the correct spelling for the word accommodation?
So I'll be giving the answer.
Yes, please.
Yes, there should be two C's and two M's. ACCOMMODATION.
Okay,
Like
yes.
spelling bee just now, right?
Yeah. Two
All right, let's
C's,
move
two M.
on.
Can we go to question or word number 7, Mr. Said? Word number 7. All right, students, please spell the word fulfill. Okay, it seems like Mr. Said's problem is never resolved. It's okay.
Well done, Hanis. Anis.
Okay, what about number 7? Okay, if
Google
any
the
of
answer,
you,
please, because you're taking a lot of time.
Mr. Said, what do you think of their spelling for the word fulfill? Okay, all of them spell F-U-L-F-I-L-L. Is this the correct spelling for the word fulfill, Mr. Said?
FULFILL. There should be one L in full.
Yes. The correct spelling is F-U-L-F-I-L. Only one L at the end of the word fill. Okay? Fulfill. Mr. Said, could you please write the correct spelling?
Sorry?
Could you please write the correct spelling for the word fulfill? It seems like all of them spelled incorrectly for the word fulfill. So the correct spelling is, yes, no, F-U-L-F-I-L for British spelling. Okay? No, F-U-L-F-I-L, fulfill.
Sorry. Extra.
Okay, actually, this word was tested in MRSM 2021 listening paper part 4, fulfill. Okay, so only one L, F-U-L-F-I-L. That is the correct spelling for the word fulfill. Okay, next one. Could you please try to answer question or word number 21, pastime? How do you spell pastime? 21, pastime. Please spell the correct spelling for the word pastime. Okay, if you can read Hazwani's answer, past time, 2 words. Again, for part 4, the answer, the number of answer that is allowed, the number of word that is allowed as the answer for part 4 is only 1 word. So Hazwani, your spelling is incorrect. All right. The correct spelling would be Pastime. Pastime, yes. Only 1 T. Okay. Only 1 T. All right. Let's proceed to the following word, which is successful. Could you please spell successful? No Tanakon, there's no hyphen in past time, only 1 T. Okay, please spell successful. Okay, Mr. Said, did they spell the word correctly, successful? Mr. Said, what do you think of the answer? Did they spell the word successful correctly? All of them have the same spelling.
That's the answer for successful. Okay.
Okay.
Most of
Very
them
good.
spell correctly.
Yes, in fact, all of them spelled the word successful
Except for
correctly.
Shahrul.
Well done. Huh? Shahrul? Oh, okay. 2S, Shahrul. Okay. All right. What about number 28? The word discipline. This is a common word and many students spell this word incorrectly. Could you please spell the word discipline? Okay, Mr. Said, do you mind giving them the correct answer? Yes. It seems like everybody spelled the word discipline correctly, right? Yes. The correct spelling would be Discipline. Discipline. Okay. All right. Shall we move on to the following slide, Mr. Said? Because we have a few more activities for the students, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's move on.
Okay. Well done, students. All right, we will share these slides with you, and you can do the rest of the words with your teacher in your class, okay? All right, next one, Mr. Said, if you may proceed.
Okay. All right. Some of you may ask the accent because some of you already mentioned because the audio use British accent. Yes. And the other one is spelling. Okay. Some of the spelling for British and English are not the same. So can you differentiate which one is British English? And so in the for British. Can American spelling be used in part 4? Oh, Mr. Azra is the spelling be used
Yes.
in part 4?
I was just asking the students, or in fact, maybe the teachers, what do you think? Can we accept students' answers if they use American spelling for part 4? What do you guys think? Okay, because Mr. Said in this slide, he was saying that you need to be able to differentiate between the British spelling and American spelling. So students, what do you think? Before you differentiate which one is British English, which one is American English, what do you think of the question? Can you use American English or American spelling in part 4? Anyone? Yes or no? Okay, maybe no, Hazwani answered. And yes, you are right. We must use British spelling for part 4 in listening paper. Okay, you cannot use American spelling. For example, the word traveling. Okay, which one is British English? Which one is American English? Double L British English or double L is American English? Could you please write your answer in the comment box below? In speaking, which accent is better? I wouldn't say which one is better. It depends. It's up to your preference. Yeah. Yes, Queen's English. Okay, Muhammad Haziq asked, what happens if you use American spelling in writing? Will marks be deducted? I will get back to your question after this, Haziq. Okay. Before I answer your question, please answer my question first. Which one is British English? Traveling double L or traveling with single L? Yes, we have to stick to British English. British spelling, yeah. Okay, students, please answer my question. What do you think? Which one is the spelling for British English? Traveling double L or traveling single L? Okay, and answered double is the British English. And yes, you are right. Yes, Barbara, British double L. Well done. Okay, to answer Haziq's question, what happens if you use American spelling in writing? Okay, listen carefully. If you use American spelling throughout your writing, let's say part 1, you use all American spelling like color, analyze, what else? Organize with Z. If you use the same American spelling throughout your writing paper, then marks will not be deducted. However, if you mix the spelling between British English and American English, then we will consider the spelling where you use American English for certain words as the errors. Okay, so if you want to use American spelling, make sure you use throughout your writing. However, it is not advisable for you to use American spelling. Okay, please stick to British spelling. Okay, are you clear about that, Haziq? Yes, teacher Izati, double L is the spelling for the British English. Campur tak boleh. You cannot mix the spelling. Yeah. If you want to use American English, please make sure that you use it throughout your writing. But please avoid using American English because we should stick to British English. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our following slide. So the one in red, which I have highlighted in red, these are the words for British English. Okay, color, COLOUR, realize with S, center, TRE, analyze, SE, traveling, double grey, GREY, program, GRAMME, catalog, GUE. Okay, if you notice the British spelling compared to American spelling, what we can deduce is that the Americans, they like to drop a few words. For example, the word color, they drop the letter U. Okay, so they tend to use shortcut. Maybe we can assume that the Americans are lazy. That's why they drop one letter. So it's easier for them to spell. Okay, like program, PROGRAM, instead of PROGRAMME. So how to remember this? Remember that the Americans, they tend to drop letters. Okay. Next, also very important, the difference between nouns and verbs. So nouns, kata nama, verbs, kata kerja. The word practice versus practice, same pronunciation. However, there's a slight difference in the spelling. Practice with CE versus SE. So which one is noun? Which one is verb? This is very, very important because for part 4, you need to be able to identify the parts of speech in order to answer certain words. Okay, remember, because I mentioned earlier that most of the answers for part 4 are normally noun, verb, or adjectives. So, students, can you tell me for the word practice, which one is noun, which one is verb? What about advice, device, and the last one? Let Mr. Syed do that, okay? All right, so I give you 1 minute to answer. Which one is noun, which one is verb? Okay, please write your answer in the comment box. Yes, teacher Rosita, British spelling seems to be longer than the American spelling. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Barbara answered practice CE is noun. Haziq answered practice SE is verb. Do you agree? CE noun, SE verb. What do you guys think of your friends' answers? Mr. Said, would you like to explain this part? Okay, Hazwani answered CE verb, but the rest answered CE noun. So which one is correct, Mr. Said?
Yes. Sorry? Yes, practice. CE is the noun, whereas the SE is the verb.
Yes, CE is noun, SE is verb. All right. What about the last word? Okay, Mr. Zaid, the last word. spelling almost the same.
The last word
Yeah.
is either. Yes, either envelope or envelope. So which one is the verb? So if you listen to the pronunciation, there's a difference between either the first three examples: practice, advice, and device, has the same pronunciation, as for the last one. The answer is envelope is the word, is the verb. Envelope is. Okay, let's move on to the next slide.
Okay, in case if you did not hear what Mr.
Okay,
said
good job,
explained just now. Okay.
Tanakorn.
Alright, the first word,
Okay.
yeah, envelope is verb, envelope is noun. LOPE is noun, envelope. Envelope, LOP is verb. Okay, Chacha, are you clear now? Yes, practice, CE and SE, the pronunciation is the same, Hafizul. Except for the last word, yeah? Yes. Okay. It's almost time, Mr. Said. I don't think we would have enough time to do part 4. So perhaps we can take questions from the students or from the teachers. Yeah?
Yes.
So, okay. Students, teachers, if you have any more question, you can just write it down in the comment box. Yeah? We have one practice here, but then time is running out. So we will be giving this practice in the module where in which you can access later on, yeah? Okay, teachers, any question regarding the listening paper? Okay, interesting that teacher Barbara shared what she has done with the students. She carried out spelling tests with strict British spelling every week with her students. Start as early as Form 1. You will see significant changes in their spellings. Okay. What about the pronunciation, Miss Barbara? How do you make sure that you use British accent to, pronounce the word for your students? I thought you were a student, Barbara. Sorry. Okay, teachers, students, any more question? Any other questions, students? Yeah, that's a good idea, Miss Barbara. I hope you can share the links with us later, Miss Barbara, so that everybody can use that in class? All right. If there's no more question, then once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We hope this session will be very beneficial for all of you, especially the Form 5 students who will sit for their trial very, very soon. And once again, on behalf of Mr. Said, I would like to apologize for the technical glitch that happened. It is out of our control. And I really hope that you will use the tips that we have shared earlier for your trial, or in fact in your SPM next year. Okay, it was a pleasure sharing the tips with all of you, and hope to see all of you next time. All right, with that, I thank all of you. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a good night. Bye bye.